9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition for tonight headlines. We have the head of state begins 48 hours official visit to Mogadishu. For the international scene, UN demands answer to work bans of women in Afghanistan. Welcome to our newsroom. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, arrived this morning in Mogadishu, capital of Somalia, for an official visit of 24 hours. A warm welcome, which is the highest format in the diplomatic order conceded to the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, upon his arrival at the international airport of Mogadishu. Aden Abdullah Osman, the set of protocol and distinctive sign for such a trip, including a guard of honor, a troop review, and the national anthem of two countries performed by the Somali Guard of Honor. Upon his disembarkation from the plane at Aden Abdullah Osman Airport, the head of state was welcomed by his counterpart of the Federal Republic of Somalia, Mr. Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, in the presence of his government, of members of his government and many parliamentarians and representatives of the diplomatic corps. In addition to welcoming the President of Somalia, Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, a strong Somali ministerial delegation was present to welcome the President, including the Somali Prime Minister Hamza Abdi Barre, the Somali Minister of Foreign Affairs Abshir Umar Jama, and the Minister of State for the Presidency Abshir Mohammed Ahmed, the Minister of Information Dawood Awes, and senior military and civil society of Somalia. As part of this working visit to Mogadishu, President Guelleh led an important delegation composed of several members of the government, including the head of the Djibouti diplomacy, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, the Minister of Youth and Culture, Dr. Hibo Moumin Assoui, the President of University of Djibouti, Dr. Jama Mohammed Hassan, and the Chargé d'Affaires at the Embassy of Djibouti in Mogadishu, Mr. Muhammad Ibrahim Yusuf. Troops of Somali dancers and singers were also present to perform songs that praised the role of the President for Somalia and the brotherly relations between the Republic of Djibouti and Somalia.
Inti ya dhaqankiyo afkiyo
The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, was invited by his Somali counterpart, Mr. Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, to the VIP lounge of the Mogadishu International Airport for a first meeting between the two head of state. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, and the Somali counterpart, President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, have made a review of the fraternal relations and the means to strengthen the already privileged links between the two countries and the two brotherly peoples. The President invited his Somali counterpart to the VIP lounge of Djibouti International for a first meeting, a prelude to a series of audiences under the sign of strengthening the relations of brotherhood and cooperation between the two sister nations, with the exceptional links forged by a community of culture and a language, as well as geographical proximity. The privileged natures of the relations of exchanges and solidarity between the Republic of Djibouti and the Federal Republic of Somalia is commensurate with the fruitful collaborations that the two nations maintain around a general agreement of cooperation. The two leaders also discussed several topics of common interests, including strengthening the economic partnership and cooperation between the two countries. Amidst the cheers that came out in large numbers in the street of Mogadishu, a crowd that brandished the enlarged photo of the President of the Republic and banners praising the role of the President for the pacification and peace in Somalia. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, met in Villa Somalia with his Somali counterpart, Mr. Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud. The talks between President Guelleh and his Somali counterpart took place mainly in a one-on-one audience. The strengthening of bilateral relations, reinvigorating partnership and economic commercial exchanges in all sectors of activity and strengthening at an even more efficient level between the two countries were at the heart of the discussions between the president and his Somali counterpart. The face-to-face talks between the Djiboutian and Somali president were preceded then by an extended working audience with the respective collaborators of the two head of state. The two head of state and the ministerial delegations of the two countries exchanged on the strategic mechanisms of exchange on the security, economic, and cultural levels. The bilateral meeting between President Gelle and the Somali Prime Minister served a framework for the evocations of the relation of friendship and cooperation between the two countries and the two brotherly peoples having in common exceptional links marked by a community of values, cultures, and languages. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of Somalia, Mr. Abshir Omar Jama, and the President of State of Presidency, the Minister of Information of Somalia, the Director of the Offices and of the President have attended this bilateral meeting. On the Djiboutian side, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, the Minister of Youth and Culture, as well as the President of the University of Djibouti, senior Djiboutian officials took part in the meeting. For his part, the Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud welcomed the President of the Republic for this visit. He indicated that the arrival of his Djiboutian counterpart is synonymous with the fraternity and historical and secular ties between the two countries. The two brotherly and friendly countries now intend to consolidate their strategic partnership, including in different areas. He added that the meeting between him and President Gelle was an opportunity to review many issues of common interest with a view to increase the cooperation in various and varied files. In his speech, Somali President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud announced that the President's visit to Mogadishu with the delegation is a great day for the Somali people and a source of pride. Welcomes, as he says, in your second country. We are aware of your unwavering support. The Third Somali Republic emanates from the will of the good God, and we thank the Djiboutian President Ismail Omar Gelle for his support. We are ready and available to take advantage of your experience and advice, and we thank you for accepting our invitation. The Republic and the Federal Republic of Somalia are two brotherly and united countries that share common points in many areas. And finally, the Somali President thanked President Gelle. For his part, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Gelle, thanked his Somalian counterpart, Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, for the welcome extended to him. The President stressed that this visit comes within the framework of an invitation made by his Somali counterpart. The head of state did not fail to underline that the exchanges made it possible to discuss the ways and means of strengthening the level of cooperation and further strengthening the historical ties of the two brotherly countries, but also to develop a strategic partnership. In his speech at the press briefing, President Gelle first thanked the President of Somalia, indicating that this is the first official visit after his re-election of the President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud. The entire Djiboutian people and myself, we are on your side to fight against terrorists, and I am witness to your commitment and encourage you. I also see all the Somali people determined and willing to fight against the terrorists of Al-Shabaab. In the name of my delegation and in many personal name, thank you for the quality of the welcomes. Also, President Gelle congratulated the men of media who disseminate useful information for the people. We are brothers who work together, and we will continue in the future. And I thank you, Mr. President, concluded President Gelle from the press briefing. The National Assembly, in accordance with the Article 2020 of the Rules of the Procedure, held this Wednesday, December 28, the first public meeting of the second ordinary sessions of the year 2022, chaired by His Excellency Muhammad Ali Ahmed, President of the National Assembly, and with the participation of the Prime Minister, His Excellency Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, parliamentarian and members of government. The plenary had on its agenda the following draft text. The first, the draft law number 165 EN 2028L on the reorganizations of the General Inspectorate of Finance, to Bill number 176 EN 2028L on strategic orientations for the structuring of informal sectors in the Republic of Djibouti, the three draft law number 178 EN 2028L on the final settlement of the state budget for the fiscal year 2021, for draft law number 181 EN 2028L on the initial budget of the state for the fiscal year 2023, submitted to the appreciations of the national representation. The various texts debated in the hemicycle have raised a rich discussions turning on the contour of ways and means of consolidations of action of monitoring of public fund and institutional health of the public and para-public landscape. Secondly, on the supervisions of job-creating sectors essential to the national economy, such as the formalizations of the informal sector, major subject the deputies have approached largely the theme of the public expenditure interventions, to which the government has provided elements of answers. Before closing the public sessions, President Muhammad Ali Hamad has in the last place presented the best wishes of the national representation. The Member of Parliament asked that the General Supervision Branch of the Finance is not able to direct the source of the problem. It does not refer to it, and its advices is not accepted. What should the offices of the General Supervisions of the country's finance? The Member of Parliament Ibrahim Abdou asked what is your strategy for moving from informal business to structuring finance to fight against poverty? The Member of Parliament Abdou Sikiye has asked the product that you have taken with me that are not ones that are important for the introductions of officials and the legitimate money. Dear Ministers of Education, can you help people who work in informal businesses to informalize their businesses? They will not be in a situation without their workers. Abdul Sikiye, who was the last to speak, is very much in favor of the President's policy that are important for the development of the countries. For the general, the members of government has responded to the questions of the parliamentarian. The General Financial Supervision Branch was established by a law project in 1997. Since that time, we have done evaluations and studies in this office related to its performance, and it can be said that it has a good job. We are doing the buildings of these offices and a strong plans to plans the work assigned to this office. When it comes to informal businesses, arrangements that are obstacles in all African countries, and every country has not to plan. And it is important to note that the people are doing businesses and the businesses registered by the government are in some situations. This is an economy that runs all over the government system is as long as it's law abiding and tax evasions. The budgets that have been submitted to us are the budgets that have been explored. They are the budgets that we want to recover, revive our economies, and strengthen the life experiences of our community in difficult times. We are one of the few countries that spend most of their budget on social issues. For his part, Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed said that for his part that the budgets that have been submitted to us are the budgets that have been explored, that we are the budget that we want to recover, revive in our economy, to strengthen the life experience to our community in difficult times. We are one of the few countries that spend most of their budget on social issues. And to close up this session, the President of the National Assembly, His Excellency Muhammad Ali Ahmed, has, in closing remarks, recalled the procedural steps of preparations that accompanied the tenuousness of the fourth public sessions before the adoptions of the aforementioned agenda. The President of the National Assembly, Muhammad Ali Ahmed, did not fail to emphasize the spirit of partnership between parliamentarians and the government that facilitate the work provided, indicating the ambitions of the government to respond effectively to the parliamentary work. The Union of the National of Djiboutian Women, UNFD, organized this morning, Wednesday, 28/12/2022, a ceremony in honor of in Ilhan Omar, U.S. Representative for the 5th Congressional District of Minnesota. Ilhan Omar, a Somali-American politician and member of the U.S. House of Representatives, visited the National Union of Djiboutian Women today, December 28th. The ceremony was presided over by the Minister of Women and Family, and saw the participation of several prominent women of the government, including the Minister of Social Affairs, Solidarity, Ulufa Ismail Abdo. The purpose of Ilhan Umar's visit was to discuss the issue facing women and girls in general and to learn more about the work done by UNFD to support and empower women in West African countries, including Djibouti. In addition, the fruitful meeting allowed to Ilhan Omar to learn more about the challenges facing women in Djibouti and to discuss ways in which the U.S. could support the women's effort in the country. Several topics were discussed during the meetings, including the evolutions of Djiboutian women in all files. The discussions also included a section devoted to strengthen the level of exchanges and collaboration between the two nations in a series of debates. In addition, Ilhan Omar visited the listening informations and orientations unit for victims of violence and the adolescent friend space, where she discussed and exchanged with young peers educators from UNFD Second Chance School Generals and Vocational Education, trained to sensitize their peers on reproductive health and human rights protection. Congresswoman Ilhan Abdullahi Umar said she was delighted to come to UNFD headquarters and congratulated the UNFD for its daily achievement in favor of women and children. During the visit, she spoke with the UNFD president and other members of the organization to learn more about their efforts to promote gender equality and women's rights. Ilhan Umar expressed her appreciation for the efforts of UNFD and praised the organization for its commitment to improving the lives of women and girls in Djibouti. She also stressed the importance of supporting women's empowerment and gender equality both in Djibouti and around the world. Overall, the visit to the National Union of Djibouti was a success as it allowed her to learn more about the important work being done by the organizations and to discuss the issues facing women and girls in Djibouti with the government's leader. His visit will surely help raise awareness of the importance of supporting women's empowerment and gender equality in Djibouti and beyond. The operations hunting for wrecked vehicles in the capital continues as part of the program Djibouti Zero was the mayor's office in its fifth day and continues its operation to clear the public domain of abandoned vehicles. These operations of removal of abandoned vehicles on the public highway, which continues in permanent ways in recent days, aims to make the capital cleaner. The mayor of the city, Said Daoud, and his teams and his partners are still crisscrossing the town of Balblaus and Balbala. Today, it was the turn of neighborhood 6 Al-Hibad, then the city Makkah Mukarramah. All the wrecks of abandoned cars have been cleared. This narrow the public highway and also disrupt traffic at the same time, all still within the framework of Project Djibouti Zero was the Syria large-scale cleaning operations within the city. Makkah Mukarramah was launched upstreams of this work. The city had mobilized all the inhabitants of the city as well as the active associations. It is to give splendor to these arteries of road traffic, very busy. Similar operations this time in the town of Balbala, where the teams of the mayor continues the operation of the collecting wrecks of vehicles. These kinds of activity will continue so that the commune is clean and beautiful. This time, the mayor, surrounded by his close collaborators, went to the vicinity of the complex Al-Rahma. All the wrecks of abandoned cars that were disrupting traffic were cleared. For his part, the mayor of the city, Said Dawood Mohammed, who spoke briefly on this occasion, congratulated and thanked all the women who participate in the success of these great days of citizen actions and thanked all his partners who supported him. He then pointed out the incivism of some inhabitants who throw their waste along the arteries. The national police put at the disposals of the local elected officials 2 trucks and the wrecks of abandoned cars and the garbage that had completely disfigured the arteries. The Birsiha Association for Development held on Monday, December 26, 2022, the evening of the awareness of at the UDC of the city of Al-Hiba for the protections of the environment and the fight against changes in Djibouti. The ceremony was chaired by the president of the association, Mr. Abdallah Mohammed Abdallah. The objective of this evening is to raise awareness of the population on the issue of environment and climate change in Djibouti. For its part, the association's Birsiha for Development is created on July 25, 2019. It regularly conducts an awareness for cleanliness in the city and the protections of forests in the interior regions, the fight against deforestation and a campaign of reforestation of the forest, the protections of our exceptional marine flora, and we appeal the fishermen not to fish with white shark and whole shark because they are species threatened with the extinction. On his side, the president of the association, Mr. Abdallah Mohammed Abdallah, thanked the young people and women who participate massively in this evening. For the international scene, Afghanistan UN demands end to work bans on women's UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres demanded on Tuesday that the Taliban regime in Afghanistan repeal its bans on employment and education for women, calling them unjustifiable violations of human rights. The Taliban banned women and girls within the days of each other from attending university and working for national and international NGOs before Antonio Guterres, his High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, had urged the Taliban to lift these unimaginable restrictions and worried work terrible consequences for all the Afghan peoples and 50 members of the Security Council. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.